What's up now? What's up now, girl? What's up now, girl? What's up now? Yeah.
Breakdown.
Yeah, what's
Breakdown.
Jimmy time.
No, that's enough. You dirty.
I can't move the way I used to. Had to call the audible. I put in the work, no humble flex. And talk of the town, you see who next. They on checkers, I'm on chess. Had to hit her with the X. XenHouse.
This is the XenHouse Podcast, episode 54. We here.
We here.
Yeah.
We at 54?
54.
This thing is moving, man.
Fred Warner, Bobby Wagner.
Who you picking?
Fred Warner.
The boys.
He's a beast.
Serious.
He's sidelined.
Bobby Wagner's a dog, don't get me wrong. But right now, athletically,
You picking
Warner.
Okay. Well, it's your boy Des Hines.
It's your boy A. Joe.
Ross B.
Okay.
Not bad.
Consistent?
You've been consistent. I'm happy. Today we got a special guest.
Yeah.
This man has been around as long as I can remember.
Before dinosaurs.
Before the dinosaurs, all of that. My older brother went to Stanford High. He's 6 years older than me. I used to
All
hang
our
around.
brothers.
Well, Alex as well went to Stanford High. So we used to hang around Stanford High before we even went there.
Yeah.
And we've seen this guy.
Yeah.
This man started teaching in 1978.
Wow.
Damn.
I was born in 89.
Wow.
You figure it out. This man has coached freshman football for as long as we've been alive.
Many years.
He's coached baseball. He's coached skiing. That's a whole nother story because a lot of folks here ain't never been skiing before. Okay. He's done it all. He's also a history teacher, English teacher, and he also both. He got a dual certification in both. The one and only Fred Keller.
Fred Cal, Coach Cal.
Coach Cal.
We made it,
Coach
boy.
Cal, man.
Legend.
No. People got to know his
Alright.
name. So just quick, when I first met you, I'm like, yo, this dude look like Stone Cold Steve Austin.
A smaller version, right?
like an old Stone Cold when he gets old. This is him right here.
He got the walk, too.
Oh yeah, and he's turned up. So Coach Kel,
My dog.
before we get into all the good stuff, we want to just know how you got your start with teaching, how you got your start with coaching, how you were brought up in Fairfield County. Can you talk to us about that?
It's as said, I'm as old as dinosaurs, but it's a long history. I actually started teaching in Stanford in 1975 at Roxbury Elementary School. So when I got out of college in 1975, the Stanford was open until like June 30th because of snow days. So I subbed from the middle of May until the end of June. So I love history. I'm a history nerd. So I want to teach social studies more than anything. And they had cut the requirement from 4 years to 3 years. So as a rookie, I was out. But the principal at that school was Rogers Elementary School, liked the way I communicated, especially with minority kids, how, I'd go out to recess and not want to come in. He liked all that rapport he had. So my name was thrown around at the elementary level, and I started at Roxbury, but I didn't have elementary certification. So I had to leave, and I went to Clunan, which was like Fort Apache back then. It was, very undisciplined school. I taught American history. I actually taught science for a little bit, and then Stanford High opened up in 1978, September of 1978. Immediately, I started coaching football with Coach Augustine, who had transferred when we were both in the same graduating year. We were both the youngest kids in our graduating class for high school and college. But needless to say, we started coaching football, and I did that for 4 years. Okay. And after that, I took a little bit of a break from football because I was getting my master's. I was actually going to leave teaching because the pay was so low. I was getting my MBA at Sacred Heart University. Some people, it takes them a while to figure out what they're going to do in life. And I always knew, for some reason, I had an innate ability to communicate with young kids. Some teachers don't like their kids. I love my kids, and I wanted to impart history. I was inspired by a couple of people, but I knew I wanted to be a teacher. I had no
Yeah.
idea I was going to coach as long as I have coached. Um, so I kind of knew that. I did my student teaching. I went to Mount St. Mary's College in Maryland, and where I played rugby for 3 years. That's why I can wrestle with you a little bit, but
No more.
and you know, and then I did my student teaching at Gettysburg High School, and I came back to the place I love. Roots in this town. My father grew up 2 blocks from here on South End, down on Ludlow Street. They had a family of 10.
You from the
Um,
South End.
Okay.
Right.
Not
Man,
That's not hard to point. You gotta tell
You're
them
from the
ain't no
South
hard
End.
point.
Right.
The South End.
10. Unfortunately, 2 died from, you know, the pandemic in 1919, but it was my grandfather Kelly was a fireman, not far from here, down at that, you know, the firehouse down on
firehouse.
Henry Street, and they raised kids through the Depression. And my grandfather had died before the war, and my grandmother had 7 sons
Wow.
in the military during World War II. 6 were active duty. 1 stayed locally because he had a family. She had, I don't know if you ever seen the scene from Saving Private Ryan. She had 6 stars in front of her house on the little house on Ludlow Street. Went to church every day, walked from here to St. John's, light a candle, and pray, you know, that her sons would come home.
Wow.
And we grew up in Stamford. I started down the east side. We're
I grew up on the west side.
who grew up on the west side, and you were
I
you-
started on the South End. Then
yeah,
east
right.
side.
So you know, we started on the east side. I went to St. Mary's Elementary School. It was large. We had, you know, Chapin in the Cove primarily, and people from the east side. There were never buses. Everybody walked to
Walk.
school.
Oh,
you know,
wow.
literally, you guys heard, well, I walked 2 miles in the snow and rain. That's what we did.
Yep.
We did that in the morning. And then my parents had saved up enough money, and we moved up to where West Hill is now, near St. Leo, where the St. Leo's Fair.
Mhm.
And I went to St. Leo's Elementary School and then to Stanford Catholic. During that time, probably, you know, I didn't realize it at the time, you know, I was in a pretty bad car accident. These guys laugh when I told the story. I got hit.
I don't laugh.
Yeah. They did. They laughed. Okay, because they had visions of me get tossed in the air. I was on a
You say it
bicycle,
like that.
and yes, you know what I mean. No compassion. So back then, I had the pedal from the bike. I hit a lady's windshield on a bike. I went airborne. The pedal went through my leg. I had a spiral fracture. My shoulder was contorted all this way. I was lying on the pavement. They're still laughing over here. And I was in a hospital for 5.5 weeks. So I didn't realize it at the time, but it probably set me back a little bit. And, you know, my father, you know, you get back to school. As soon as I got home from the hospital, I was limping around. He goes, I paid $75 for tuition. You're going to school. That's all it was for St. Leo's.
Wow.
And needless to say, I limped on back into class, and then I went to
Different type of
Stanford
mental toughness.
Catholic, which later
Right.
became Trinity
Trinity
Catholic.
Catholic.
So, and you know, some people, you know, a lot of people in my graduating class, they made some good choices. As with the guys we all know,
Mhm.
some made good choices, some made bad choices, and some are thriving, doing really well. And you know, I would say my coaching career started in that '78. I took a little hiatus from coaching football. Probably the sport I love coaching the most, that or baseball. And then I came back in like '90,
Mm.
and I call it the Billy Fletcher Quincy Powell team, and they played not only the freshman schedule, but they played the JV schedule. And some of those guys were brought up as freshmen because we really were. The '80s, nobody wants to acknowledge it. We're probably the worst time for football in Stanford High history.
Mm.
I think maybe we won 15 games in the entire decade.
Damn.
It could be worse. It could be better. I'm not sure. So he came back, and this team was the team that made the States, I believe, in 1994. And then that was under Coach Albrecht. And, they went on, some went to college, some, they didn't, most of the people from there didn't go as far as you guys did,
Right.
as far as going for football. And, I coached football from that time, and I call it the Kyrie Fort team. There were other good players like Patrick Atkinson. I think you would come to practice a little bit,
Yeah, I'll
check
check 'em
stuff out. And that was the last year I coached football. In the meantime, from 1988, I coached baseball, first at the freshman level. I had 2 undefeated teams, which is almost impossible. 13-0 team, 14-0 team. I became the JV coach, and the record, I know it's JV, it's sub-varsity, it doesn't count, was unbelievable over my tenure as JV coach. 14-2, 16-1, 15-1, 17-0, and 15-0. I mean, the kids played hard for me. The advantages, I had a lot of the football kids. A lot of the football kids would then come into the weight room. I ran the weight room, and then they would come out for baseball. This is before we had lacrosse at the high school.
Yeah, lacrosse started
Right,
taking over.
right.
Yeah.
Did it start with you played?
Well, no, Jones yelled at me because Mr. White tried to get me to
Yeah,
play.
right. Try to get you to play.
Yeah.
I gave up football then. I went on to become the varsity baseball coach. We weren't as successful as I was at the sub-varsity level. But, one of the guys that I think your predecessor here on the podcast talk about soccer, one of the kids, Mike Suma, had an unbelievable year at Stanford
Yeah,
High,
they
made
did
it to the
great.
state final, made it to the FCAC final, lost on a penalty kick, a baseball player for me, but, just a great individual. He played when I was the varsity coach. I resigned from Stanford High baseball. I believe it was 2014. I became the tennis coach. I know these guys that see what I mean. Just
did
know,
you-
like, I play tennis. And I'm going to tell you a story about my tennis career. Alex, I don't know why you're laughing, but I won my league in tennis at the tennis club of Brem.
The 80 and up.
And I did. I was a 4-5 player. Would I beat Serena Williams? No. She would destroy me. I wouldn't even get a point.
Nobody
But-
here would beat her.
But I am not bad at tennis. So, I became the tennis coach, and they opened up for the first time, and we do have had African Americans on the team that
They
don't
definitely do. I
go
remember seeing
there.
I've seen some.
Yeah.
I
We
remember seeing
do
them.
that, a combination with West Hill and Stanford High. It is a phenomenal success story. I really mean that. We go up to Southernton, which is a little dinky mountain, and we compete against 50 different teams.
Right.
So the same time when I'm coaching tennis, coaching skiing, and after football, I started coaching cross country, which is no doubt far easier than football. Football was, I watched from when we're running around the stadium and I'm watching the football team do well or not do well, was like torture for me because I know my heart and soul
It's still in
it
it.
has to be out with those kids. I don't want to criticize other coaches, but I can see how they messed up.
Yep.
But my job is to stay quiet.
Mhm.
I am no longer the coach, and it is what it is. I would not talk junk about those coaches after that. But I didn't like, how things were run just from afar. That's not fair. But just miss it every time.
I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
Who you picking out of us three as a freshman football player?
As a freshman football player, that's a tough one. One, it's not Alex. Okay. And I got a story about that, and I feel it's a little bit of motivation.
Okay.
Okay. I would say that you came with probably more talent because of your speed, but you used to put the ball on the rug.
What?
Yeah.
Fumble is
I could never run you inside. I always had to put Aaron Raines on the inside run.
And you had to go outside.
Or AJ, because every time the ball would end up on the rug, if I put you on, on the outside,
He was more successful.
Ross, who I used to, as you can still see him, okay, I used to call him Squinch, okay?
Yeah.
Because he was so fast. There was only one kid faster as Dwight Davis than he
Dwight
was.
faster than him?
And he was
no, Dwight used to move
fat.
too.
But the ball used to hit Ross in the face. Like all of a sudden, it's right there. Okay. Brendan Salvatore used to put it right there. And all of a sudden, I go, Ross, do you need glasses? No.
I told you.
I don't need glasses.
Yeah,
So finally, like, and this is the feel that you have as a coach. We were so good, but we hadn't all played together, and we had such great chemistry. And
Talent
we did
was
for a while
everywhere.
with your team. The chemistry was unbelievable. When you could see the development as this team is state championship bound. You agree? Okay. And it's
should've.
like me pushing the right buttons to make sure. So I moved Ross to running back.
Running back. Yeah.
Okay. Because you couldn't get by him in the secondary when he played defense. He was a great tackler and everything. Alex, his freshman year, I probably should have been fired how much I got on his case.
Yeah.
My best line was, I've been waiting for you for 4 years. And I nicknamed him the mayor. Okay. And the reason I did is because after every game, hey, how are you? I'm Alex. How you doing? And before the game, he was like a politician trying to get votes. I go, you can't be nice when you're on the football field.
Oh,
And
so
then-
basically he was soft.
Yeah, he was
No,
soft.
I wouldn't say he's soft. He
not
just
soft.
he didn't want to
I had to-
hurt
I
anybody.
had
He
to
wanted to
butter
be there.
people up.
He was yes,
Make
exactly.
them feel good, and then
He goes, like
come on.
no, I never heard that. I never heard that. I'm
See,
sorry.
I wasn't the hard hitter back then. I was a short tackler.
He
There's a
was.
difference.
Yeah, he goes, I don't want to hurt you. I'll just do the nice wrap up, pick
It
you up
was the
and put
soccer
you
in
down.
me.
Okay,
It was the
it might have been the
soccer.
soccer.
I used to get in trouble in soccer being too
So,
aggressive.
But we have to fast forward ahead. And I remember when he finally did get stopped, the hits that Alex put on people when he went to the varsity level and was reverberated in Boyle Stadium. I mean, it was the only one that hit as well. Okay, my second Haitian sensation
Pego.
was Pego Jean-Paul.
No,
Pego
Okay,
was
it was
fucking-
Bravo.
To this
I'll
day.
give you tops. Okay, I'll give you.
Nah.
Ross
Pego,
said he was a top hitter.
Yeah, I'm
Yo,
top
you
three.
are- I am-
I'm top three hitters.
Yo, I had the hammer.
behind history?
I had the hammer most.
No, you did not, Alex.
I heard some pretty
Give
good.
it up. I had to
Ross,
say
you
that.
did.
I want to see what he's gonna say.
You
You
Yeah.
did too, but
Pego was that.
Pego, ironically, was my mother-in-law's nurse in the doc, and it's
Wow.
something he come, hey, Coach Kel, how you doing? You would never know that
he was a
this
savage.
guy was an assassin.
Yeah,
I
he was
mean,
killing.
he went out there, he would shake your hand, but he would put a
He
lick
would-
on
he
you.
would
And he
try to
was,
kill you.
like these guys were all successful in college. He went on to become all Northeast Division 3 and 2. So we talk all the time, we laugh all the time about our 2-on-2 basketball games with Coach White and that. But the memories. I mean,
Tell the folks about the greatest run play you've ever called,
okay.
and your boy took it to the crib.
In that game, I was so mad. We had this phenomenal team. We were 9-1. We should have. I'll take the blame. I should have changed defenses against Trumbull. We ended up losing, I believe it was 20-12.
Yeah.
And they kept on doubling down on our end. It was Dylan McCullough, and I should have moved guys over. And he was taking a double team on, and he was built like a rail. He was quick, but he wasn't. He couldn't take on those double teams, and I should have made an adjustment. I did. So I'll take that one. But in the West Hill game, I took him out because he didn't want to tackle Ty
Washington.
Yeah.
Ty Washington. He would punish you when you tackled him. So I had a move adjustment, and I believe I moved you to corner in that game, and you were taking it on. So we are down 12-0 in that game. West Hill, believe me, it's a freshman game. I think, would you say 2,000 people in the stands that
Yeah,
night?
it was
Yeah, it was
filled.
full.
It
we all grew up together.
we
so
all grew
it
up
was all
together. They
friends. It
were
was
good.
packed.
We were good.
Yeah.
I used to scout their games. I used to go up, like with an umbrella on, and they used to. I remember Wendell and Eric Goethe used to go. That mother was up in the stand scouting up. I could see they're pointing up at me like this, but they would come to our things and
Right.
scout. So they always knew that I loved that skinny post or that slant, and Dylan McCullough and Dwight Davis ran great routes.
Mm.
So they would double down and cut off on that. And, and I knew that they knew that I loved that skinny post and that slant, and that they took that away. It was a good move by them. So we're down, we're wimping out. Oh, we're going to lose. How do I rally these guys? You've had a great year. And so Dwight, we worked on it all week with Brendan Salvatore. I go, you got to make one step in. They're going to bite. Boom, plant it, go out. He did it. 6. I remember we called this play 134 Chevy.
Mm-hmm.
Got the extra point. Now it's 12-8. Next thing is they bite on the inside. Now we're up. The rally. It's going back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it is a great game. So, I think we're still down. So, Bobby Ligori is the tackle. He has to pull this way. We're gonna, basically the fullback's gonna lead, and it looks like it's going to the running back, and it's an inside handoff, 48 cross trap. Ross takes it to the house like ghost. Boom! And it didn't hit him in the helmet this time because
He held
Sal
on to
put
that
it right
motherfucker.
there.
Uh-huh.
And and give the credit to Ross and the blockers and Sal and all those guys. We practiced so well.
Mm-hmm.
We really did. We practiced. It was we went, when it's time for warm-ups, time for warm-ups. When it's time for fun, we had them all. That group got together. They went to a lot of times to Sal's.
Yeah.
On the weekend, they went to the, movies. They
We all
competed to one another's
we were brothers
Yeah.
for sure.
right, brothers all the way. And I mean, they liked one another. They busted one another's balls all the time.
Competition.
It was just a great group that, unfortunately, we should have done better that
Mhm.
year. I mean, it's just the nature of football. A coach makes a call here, like everything can change, but just a great. So I'll never forget another kid who I was tough on that year, like Alex, was Rel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Rel puts the game on ice, intercepts the pass, okay, and takes it in for a pick 6, and we win the game 42-28. So, it was a great game. People are like complimenting me. It's really you guys that did the job, and it's,
Great
like a
coaching
play.
though.
Well,
The best,
I
the best
mean,
team, the best team you've
I
ever,
don't
the
want to take
greatest team
credit.
you've ever coached.
You guys,
and history.
we had
Just
vision.
sit out of it,
I
young
mean,
man.
we
Don't touch me.
what we did is, Brendan Salvatore gets a lot of credit for it. Jesse Scalise, Brett Christensen, you guys, CP. I mean, so many people get credit for it. Bobby Ligori, everybody said, Matt V.
There was a lot of
please, I
players on the
forgive
team.
if I miss
There's too many.
somebody. There's
There's too many
so
of
many
us.
great votes. Stella, I mean, he gave up quarterback position to become a guard, and he was, he played tackle, undersized tackle.
Yeah.
So I mean, so many kids contributed on the team that the second team put in as much effort as the first team. Everybody was waiting to come up, and we used to increase, like change plays. I'll never forget, and I know you guys want me to talk about it, the famous when I had surgery game, against New Canaan. And basically they had scouted us, and we did that Black Knight formation where a lot of times guys would go in motion. We did that really well with your year, just the following year. And, a lot of motion and
the better team, right?
No.
But we'll discuss that in a little
Yeah,
bit.
we're not the
Okay.
better team.
a very good team.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And
Good, he said.
and I remember Breck Christensen got the ball, and we just pounded them
Yeah.
like 32-0. And as everybody knows, New Canaan is a perennial winner. And if you can beat them at anything, especially football, they got 20 coaches on the staff.
Yeah.
They get people to scout freshman games. I mean, to beat them in the way we thumped them up that game was pretty nice. But it just, that whole year we could change things, and your group was a very intelligent group. Going to your group, okay, okay. See if you remember this, and you guys were good. Oh my God, we great fullback, 2 solid running
Woods.
backs. We got 2 good receivers. One guy was really a basketball guy. You could throw the ball no matter what, he would catch it.
Mhm.
But I said, listen, if you drop the punt, yell fire, please. And it was against Trumbull. Boy, we hated losing to them.
Don't like
So we have them. We're up. So we're on a 15-yard line. Perfect snap right here. All of a sudden, the guy decides, fire. He yells, fire. I go, why? You're on the 15-yard. You didn't drop the ball. And he tries to run it out for 10 yards. We get, of course.
Who's this guy?
I don't want to throw him under the bus, but he knows.
I wasn't the punter.
No, you weren't. No,
Okay.
you had
We
nothing
need
to do
names.
with it. Okay?
We
It
need
was-
names.
You probably could think about it. I'm not gonna
I
say
know
it.
who it is, but
Yeah.
I don't want to throw the man under the bus.
Yeah.
And we
It's
ended
45
up
years
losing
later.
again.
Fucked up.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I got a question about hard coaching. That was definitely your style, right? And I feel like it helped us for college, being coached hard. Do you think your style of coaching would survive right now?
I do believe it will. And here's why I'm saying that. I know you guys don't think that these, things are like real sports like skiing or tennis or cross country. But at Stanford High, you guys were winners there. But a lot of times, the tennis team, we had an unbelievable year last year. You know what our record was? 6-9.
Mm.
That was the most wins I've been. We go against country club teams, beach club teams,
They play
kids
they
that are
play
having
weekly.
lessons. We
Yeah.
don't get the Serena Venus Williams things where all of a sudden these kids coming from the hood can make it up and compete against that.
Mhm.
You didn't
Right.
have that kind of father, like King Richard that's going to push him and push him. So our kids are average kids. Some of them play over the summer. So with cross country, we had 2 girls again undersung, should have been, that made it to the state open, which is phenomenal. You saw because you ran track, right?
Yep.
You ran indoor.
No,
Yeah,
I did.
I
outdoor.
ran- I
We
ran
do
it
it
And
outdoor.
you guys ran outdoor. So what the comp, especially for the distance running. So and with skiing, we're competing against really wealthy kids. It's encouraging kids to get better. I don't get loud like I did with you guys.
Oh, he was
Right.
turned
Those
up.
You
kids
gotta
will
be a little
cry.
bit more
Okay.
gentle. You
Okay.
were hands on. One thing that I do remember too, though, is like,
Yeah, he'll
and this
throw
is
you in
why
the-
he had a
he'll-
hernia, is because he used to try to pick up dudes like Alex Desjardins, right? Trying to teach people how to tackle.
Right,
Right,
stuff,
right,
yeah.
right,
You know what I mean?
right.
Like,
He
but
was
it was,
very
but that
hands-on.
was
Right.
that. You like, we ain't gonna
Hands on.
But like
Aggressive.
I thought
Yeah.
that from my days of playing freshman, like high school football, that's what made me say, this is what I got to do, right? And for me, that's how I learned, was him being like, hey, you have to tackle like this,
yeah.
not just being like, all right, this guy's running tackle, right? Like he was hands on, actually teaching us, and if you didn't understand, he would show you.
He
You
would
got
actually
you
show
got to
you.
grab him,
Yeah.
and if
You
you
gotta
got
run through that motherfucker. You gotta
That
get
was-
the dick.
That
Pause.
I never said that.
Yeah.
That's fake news right there. Okay.
No, but that was, everyone had a different learning style, and like you created that for us.
Yeah.
Like that was a vision. And like me not being able to see the ball, even though I could run fast, you saw that I needed to move up and play running back because
Right.
it was just easier to get. So like stuff like that is what changes, certain players to want to become more.
Right.
And then like eventually after that, you know, I started playing sophomore football,
And you
JV football,
Right.
and varsity all in 1 week. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah. Yes,
But
I do.
like,
Yes,
they
I
were
do.
putting me in the fire.
Right.
You know how you
Sometimes
used to
that's the
drop
best.
that ball on the ground? They
I
put
don't
me
remember
in.
all these fumbles
They
he's
put
talking
me.
about,
They
but
put me
I
in.
I remember.
They put
No,
me
you
in one
Nope, I
varsity
don't, but I'm gonna
game
add to it.
versus Fairfield,
Right.
and I remember I got lit
Chichi Mondu.
up. Oh my god, I got lit.
He
up.
ran me over too. That shit
And I was
sick.
what? Probably $140
$140.
If that.
Fast though.
fast.
Fast and
So,
strong too.
Yeah, come on.
No, not strong like the caveman over here.
Alex was
But-
190.
Right.
Nah, then I was 160. I was
Yeah,
like
yeah,
165. I was really skinny.
But do you remember the game that I made one of your teammates very angry who, because I put you in and he was the dancing machine out there
Mhm.
and every place that you know who was CP. Okay. You know what game I put you in that you were outstanding in as running back? You don't remember?
No, I don't remember.
It was cold. I'm going to give you a hint.
Uh,
Dwight Davis made a play. He played so
What
hard in
game
that
was that?
game after the game. He
And did
cried
the-
because he had put so much effort in.
Effort.
He did what you saw Travis Kelce do the other day with Dylan McCullough.
yeah.
Okay, so they all went around him. He had the ball
I remember
And
that.
against
Who was that?
Yeah,
Danbury.
Danbury.
You
remember
had
that
the
shit.
game of your life because you would be running the blast the way they were, right to the hole. Okay, or you would be running. You would not always try to take it outside that long, the way Desmond did, take it all the way around.
That boy was
I'm
scared
going
to
all the
get
way,
hit. He was
going
scared
all
to
the
get
way
hit.
to the
He only
contact.
wanted
When
to
you
hit
fast,
the
you can
corner.
do it. When you fast, you can do it. But hold on.
No,
before you
let him
continue-
continue that
All right.
that story.
And that's the game when
That's when Dwight had mad tacklers, right? And he
Right.
spun out of it and
Right,
And
scored.
no,
right.
he flicked it down to Dylan. And
Dylan
Right.
went
Did a
in for the
lateral?
score,
Yeah.
and it was
did
you
the
know
exact same thing.
it was cold, and excuse me, so it was cold that night. So it was a battle of a game, and I went in. They put us in. Remember, they put us in that little bathroom.
Bathroom.
Yeah.
There were like 45 of
I
us.
remember this now.
And
we were in the
snuck
corner
out like this.
Yeah, shivering.
Okay, you guys cold? Are you guys cold? So Alex, smart as he was, no. No, we ain't cold. You're not cold. Okay, we
Booger
got
dropping down.
we ain't cold. We're not cold. So what I did
Danbury
is
was
when we
cold,
get
too,
out
yeah.
of this mother boop in place, you're gonna run not once but one time. Well, I'll get tired. Well, you get warm. And we went out there and we had it was the coach he was a baseball coach that I coached against up at Danbury. And I see him now. He goes, "Why didn't you tell me how easy cross country was as far as football?" And we laugh about that game. He goes, "That game." He goes, "What you did that game was unbelievable. We wanted to beat you so bad, and you guys did it. You spanked them. You
Mhm.
spanked Danbury the next
Come on.
year. Yeah, I know you guys
on.
did that group.
The most coachable, most athletic player you ever had. man. Nah, but what I was gonna say,
you're good, bro. I
What I was gonna
can't
say-
take that away.
what I was gonna say is that those guys being a year older than me, you saw what they were doing, right? And I was like, I can't wait till next year to
Yeah.
play freshman football. Like, I don't think that exists now where people like, "Oh, I can't wait to play freshman.
Yeah.
Because what they did, you guys lost one game,
Yeah.
one or
Yeah,
two
we
games
lost
One game.
one game that year.
that
Yeah.
year.
The
So,
Trumbull game.
so we were like, yo, we can't wait to do it with our year.
Yeah.
And I just don't see that now in Stanford,
Right.
which leads to another question.
Yeah, I was about
Okay.
to bring this up.
Youth football in Stanford. When we played, we had Pop Warner, where we
Right.
play in all the different towns
Right.
in Connecticut.
And then
Then they transitioned into the middle school, which
Right.
we weren't really big fans of, but because it's not like Pop Warner.
Yeah.
Now there's one team in Stanford.
Right.
So there's like literally 24, 25 kids in Stanford youth playing right
Oh,
now.
my.
What do you
That-
think about that?
It's just that's phenomenal what Stanford I was able to accomplish this year going 7-3. And you guys know that is almost like going undefeated. But I think what happened is parents got afraid of with all the concussion stuff that's going out. Not realizing the concussions really happen as you guys well know, in college. Doesn't really happen. I mean, you can get a concussion in high school, but the damage is really caused by the higher. I think that just scared them.
Yeah.
The other thing is, and Alex and I were talking about it before, and that is the demographics of Stanford have changed a lot. And probably people don't want to admit it. The most popular sport for males is soccer.
Mm-hmm.
You have 125 kids trying out for soccer. Now you can do the numbers. How many can you take in a program? 40. So that means you're cutting.
Yeah, you're cutting.
You know, you're cutting. Football, we had. I think we maxed out about 48 to 50.
Might have been 50
if you
something.
look for our team,
Yeah.
and even the years before, we had good numbers in the the competition between Dolan and Trailblazers and Turner River and St. Gabe's it made everybody kind of better. So at least you kind of say, unfortunately, Trinity would always try to skim off the top of the better players. They were always going after you because you guys were good kids.
Yep.
And they fit to the mold. I'm sure the private schools did too, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, I think the sell is to the parents and to the community that it is very safe, and I think the NFL does a good job. I think a great job promoting the sport and how they're presenting it. That it requires a lot of dedication. That it requires, not only a lot of dedication and a work ethic, but that these are special athletes. The elite athletes. I think college football does a great job. Game day promoting it. So somehow that has to filter down. I mean, Stanford, to me, and I'm not being rah-rah, Stanford is the greatest city in Connecticut.
That's it.
It's wealthy. It's
It's a
mixed.
fact.
You have 60 different languages being spoken from people that come to this area. I mean, it's just let's turn on the kids to what you guys had. I mean, you guys came to me with a little bit more experience than some of the previous teams, like I talked to the team, the Billy Fletcher, Quincy Powell, Mark Boucher, the Cats Boys team that made it to the States. They didn't have youth football. So we had to teach them from exactly what I was trying to teach you. I know, Alex, you played soccer. Did you play soccer, Tess? No. You.
Hell no, he's not an athlete.
It's good.
Listen, I was a three-sport
No, he had good hands,
captain.
bro.
I
Yeah.
I was a
three-sport
three-sport
captain.
captain with asthma.
These dudes wasn't-
You had no choice. You had no competition.
These dudes wasn't
Who you play
captains,
with?
coach.
Who'd you play with again?
That's that good leadership, guy.
Yeah. Who'd you play
What are
with
you
again?
talking about?
No, that's awesome, man. Like, yeah, we got some questions.
Yes, I got questions. We need answers, Coach Bell.
Okay, let's see if I can do it without being. I got to be politically correct here.
No.
Okay.
Be
No,
This is
no,
what I got.
politically
Keep it real.
correct.
You could curse too. I don't know if you knew that.
I never cursed in my life.
Okay. So this or that, you just answer whatever comes to your mind first. Hank Aaron or Willie Mays? Who you picking?
Hank Aaron, and here's why. Because Hank Aaron was like vanilla. He's always good from start to finish. And he got better and better and better and better. And he handled things with class. Willie Mays was a better athlete. Willie Mays was, I mean, they say there was nobody faster from first to third than Willie Mays. He was a tremendous center fielder. The thing that happened to Willie Mays that was unfortunate is that he moved out of New York area. When he moved to the San Francisco Giants, we on the East Coast forgot about him. And being that, there used to be a big following when he came at the Shea Stadium and played against the Mets, but he didn't get the fanfare that he is deserving. That's why, with Hank Aaron, he handled the pressure of 1974 when there was still racial discord in the country. He handled that with so much class. Doing it for the Atlanta Braves, in a city that was still suffering from post-segregation era, and he, just the way he did it, how he was a really calm teacher to the younger folks.
Generation.
I don't think Willie post-career
Did
taught
any of
the
that.
kids the way Hank Aaron did.
Yeah.
Forgive me for the Willie fans, but I mean, Willie was not that big.
Mm.
And the amount of power that he generated, the amount of home runs that he had, Candlestick Park, the wind blew out, the wind blew in.
Mm.
The stadiums were cookie cutter stadiums. They were a lot vaster.
Mm.
The amount of home runs that he hit, not that Hank Aaron shots weren't
As good.
were phenomenal out of sight like you see Aaron Judge do nowadays, or Bryce Harper, but he was just consistent. I forgive me if I don't know this fact, as I hate to ever discuss. I don't think he ever hit more than 50 home runs. Hank Aaron. Yeah, to me, he is the true leader of home runs. I'm sorry. Okay. You use steroids and you.
Oh, damn.
We can get to that topic.
So he don't belong in the Hall of Fame. That's what you're telling me.
To me, he
Yeah, we
doesn't
know what we're
belong
talking
with the
about.
home run record. Does he
Okay.
belong in the Hall of Fame? Absolutely.
But just
Because
not-
he was already good. He did not he did not need to do that. I believe that he saw all the, chicks love the long ball commercials and all these guys doing well, and he's not getting any love. That he goes, they're cheating, and the MLB is not taking a look at what they're doing. Okay, you're letting Jose Canseco get away with it, Mark McGuire get away with it.
Right.
He said, "Well, I might also do it. I might also get the injection in the old buttocks
Poke.
like that." So, and that's why I love Ken Griffey.
Yeah.
Could he have cheated? Maybe. I don't think, but just his body build that he ever did. That's why he's still probably, one of my top
Greatest.
5 players, because I think he did. I really do believe he, not being naive, that he did it honestly to hit that home run. Go ahead, bud.
Next question. If you could go back and give your 18-year-old self one piece of advice, what would it be?
Oh, geez, that's a tough one.
It's a long time ago.
I made so many good decisions in my life, and I made so many bad decisions in my life. I should have stayed. When I was 18 years old, I made the college baseball team. But the guy had practice at 7:30 in the morning on Saturday and Sunday. I mean, I was just waltzing into the dorm at 3 o'clock, and so, I slept through one practice. Needless to say, what I was doing the night before. And I should have just said, hey, look, get up, get to bed earlier. And, because I know you guys weren't baseball guys, but I love baseball. The other thing is football. I don't know what it is, and I think it came out when I coached you guys. I see the mistakes and I see the field as a receiver, not as a running back like you guys, as a receiver and as a quarterback. Even though I'm vertically challenged, I should have stayed with it. The problem with being at Stanford Catholic, they used to have, my day and age, not to digress, my day and age, they had Pop Warner, and then they had Pop Warner Bantam. So it would be guys that, they didn't have freshman football in the high schools. They had JV and varsity. So you could still play. So I played in the Bantam League. And it was probably about a year after my my getting hit by the car. And this guy loved me. It was called Crystal Rock Giants. They just mentioned the owner of the team at the old timers dinner, and I was quarterback of the team. I'm too good, okay, to be on this team. So I went back to the high school where they, they were going to start me, and then somebody who was related to somebody started over me.
Sounds about right.
It sounds like it's typical Trinity Catholic, nepotism and cronyism works. And then I went back to the team, and the coach, who are you?
Right.
And he taught me a lesson. So, but that was when I was 14 and 15. When I was 18, I think you just need to experience some things. Sometimes I think you're not a parent yet. Not a parent yet.
I am.
I
got one.
Sometimes you got to let kids make mistakes.
Absolutely.
I was it was, as I said before, I was a history nerd. I could have studied harder in college. I know you guys fit in right there where you maybe could have cracked the books a little bit more.
In high school, college, I was good.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
not in high school.
I remember. You wouldn't take my class because you knew you'd have to do some work. I was
Yeah.
going to cut you a break.
I'll just be in
Yeah,
Rob's place.
don't lie.
eating.
Yeah. Use that charm, that mayor talent, where you're going to go,
And work
hey,
with Sly.
I'm Alex Joseph.
Sly
Hey,
let
you
me go
look
to-
really good today.
Yeah.
You know, like, but
Work with Mo.
you know, I mean, I got good grades in college, but maybe I should have
Push a
tried
little bit harder.
harder. And I don't want to digress, but I think of you guys when I think of when I used to, you know, we used to have dime beer night for Monday Night Football when I was in college, and
You said
Dime?
dime beer night.
Damn, that was a long
At-
time ago.
at-
Shit was a
You used
long
to pay
time
a
ago.
dime for beer?
A dime for beer at the Blue Duck Inn.
Wow.
You go and watch Monday Night Football with, and I remember Joe Namath, you know, playing, and me betting with my friends, you know, against Johnny Unitas because they were all more Colt friends,
Mm.
okay, fans, and waking up the next day like, oh my God. And I would think, and I know because I go by your house every morning, and that your dad would not have that. And I know your background, that my parents were working, you know, so I better get my butt to class. So,
Mhm.
you know, as I look back, they set a good, and that's what
Yeah.
you guys, they set a good role model
Mhm.
for you, that work ethic. And I think that's why you guys are so successful. Why I'm so proud of you three. Well, two. Okay.
It's okay.
No. All three.
You're out of the bunch.
No, you're out.
No.
No, God can't take anything. Gus, right? That's your dad's name?
No, Mike.
Mike. Okay. I'm sorry.
When it's all said and done, how do you want to be remembered?
I would say, did I make a difference? And I think the feedback from you guys and kids that I've coached, when I go out, I still play down the street softball.
Mm.
So I play against the kids that I coached, and it's always come to my cooler, have a beer,
Yeah.
you know. And if as long as it's not Bud Light, yeah, I'll have a beer. You know, like, you know, it's, you know, to see the feedback from the kid, you know, like going back to you guys, how you try to, you know, tackle me and stuff when I see it, it means the world to me. It really does. It's payback,
Yeah.
you know, so.
Also, real quick, can you explain? There's people to this day that call me Doodoo.
Okay.
Can you explain how I got the name?
I forgot about
How I got
this.
the name Doodoo? And
And you know what? It's so fitting. You know, like everybody has a biological clock. Okay, their anatomy tells you something. So we're doing high knees, power skips, karaoke. Coach Kel. I gotta go do it. I gotta go do a doo-doo in the bathroom. I go,
dump
it's
it.
2:35. You are like clockwork every day. So he disappear, come back, you know, like nice and relieved. How you feel, Des? I feel good, Coach. So finally I go, your new name is not Des. Your new name is Doodoo. Because every day at 2:35, like clockwork, would be,
Gotta dump
yeah,
it.
he had to dump out the bad boys, okay?
And I still do it today.
and it's
To this day, same shit.
2:34.
Nothing
It
changes.
Some of the practices my golden retriever would go to. I don't know if you guys remember Morgan.
Mhm.
And Morgan used to like almost was on the same schedule as he used to at least go on the softball field. You know, like he would come to the practices. Go ahead, bud.
Yeah, there's to this day people still say Doodoo.
Right. It's a good name,
Yeah.
an appropriate name.
Hey, it is
So-
what it is. Just overall, we just want to thank you for taking the
Oh, no,
time
no
to come
problem.
here and
I
chat
mean,
with
thank you
us.
for the memories. Honestly,
Memories.
like
Yeah.
I wish I still till this day wish that we had the film, you know,
Oh, my
from
goodness.
all those
Right.
games because it's just legendary.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
the story in itself
Right.
is amazing, but to see it,
Mhm.
Right.
you know, like the comeback that year
To
was
see, oh my goodness, all that.
it was if people could see the stadium. I
Right.
mean, we had the stadium packed. More packed than the varsity
our
guys.
senior year was the last night game after that brawl.
Right.
That was the last time Stanford High ever did a night game.
Right.
Was our senior year.
No.
You guys had one? I thought it was after us.
It was shortly after.
Oh, I thought it was after because that
'cause
big
I had
brawl
night-
that carried
That
downtown.
was the West Side, East Side thing.
Yeah, that wasn't too long after.
Right.
But I had night games too. But
Right. You know, like, it's too bad. I know you guys had Sean Cribbins for a podcast and stuff, but his dad filmed every game.
mhm.
I mean, that would have been a no-brainer to have that, to see you guys smaller. But, you know, going back to the crowds, I hate to say it,
Had more
that was
diversity.
Coach Jones's first year, but we had bigger crowds than the varsity did. And you could see, like,
That's
there
when we were
was the
talking
real-
shit and they came and attacked us.
Right, exactly. I wouldn't allow that. They did that. I wouldn't allow that. Was, anti-bully, and talk about that. I'd get
They
fired
chased
now.
us
But I
all the
would
way
not
up.
let them go. You guys are not going in, okay, and possibly injuring somebody.
There used to
You
be
know.
brawls though. I remember it happened to y'all, and then the year after that, they did it.
Mm-hmm.
I remember Mike Knights
My-
coming down.
Yeah,
Our sophomore year with Blair Smart, Teddy Wellard, all those
Right,
guys.
yeah.
Jones just said, get them because we were talking shit.
Right.
Our freshman team was
Yeah.
undefeated, basically.
Right.
Sophomore
Yeah,
team was
yeah.
undefeated. And we were like, yo, varsity, y'all suck. Step the game
Yeah,
up.
well, which you should say. That the
That's crazy.
scoreboard doesn't lie, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
we were telling them that, and they didn't like that. And Jones thought that we were too snobby, and he
Yeah.
just sent all the varsity after us.
Yeah, he would be
Poor Donald
he would be on
James
the front
got
page
rocked.
of the Advocate
Oh, yeah.
today. But we scored. That team scored over 400 points. 400 points that year.
We were
Okay, I mean, in balance, the defense was locked down. We pitched a lot of shutouts.
Florida
Alex.
boys wouldn't handle nothing.
Right. The pride,
Jersey,
even like
all that.
when
Trash.
you got, I used to have to take you guys out. I go, you guys got to come out, give everybody a chance, and you mother better not give up nothing. I want a goose egg on that, and they
Yeah.
would step up, and it was
It was chill.
a nice
Yeah.
nice group.
DP would have been on the bench.
I
That's
do
awesome,
see
man.
CP around.
We appreciate you, man,
No
for all
problem.
the
Yeah.
history.
Thank you for having
Thank you
me.
for having
And,
us. Thank you for coming, man.
Man, no
Appreciate
problem.
you. Episode 53, we signing out. 54.
What's up now? What's up now? What's up now? Yeah.
Breakdown.
Yeah, what's up?
Jimmy Tap, Jimmy Tap.
No, that's enough. Yo. You fight dirty. You fight dirty, Cal.
Get you, man.
XenHouse, yeah. XenHouse, yeah.